Hey, everybody. Welcome. I am randomly popping up on your feed today to do a little bit of teaching. Today, I'll be talking about mind over everything, emotional regulation for the busy and burdened. So, I'm Dr. RJ Verwain, licensed clinical psychologist, corporate burnout strategist, and also therapist to the smartest, dopest, most amazing, busy, formerly burned out clients on earth. So that's who I am. If you don't know me already, please let's stay connected at Ask Dr. RJ, AskDRRJ everywhere. So again, I'm randomly popping up. I'm going to do a little bit of teaching today. I'm in a teaching mood. We're getting into fall time, even though today, if you're watching this currently, today in Atlanta, it's going to be 91 degrees, but nevertheless, it is fall time. And then Q3, as we're headed into Q4, I get in my teachy mood. So here we are. Again, we're going to be talking about mind over everything, emotional regulation for the busy and burden. So think about this. Are you the type who keeps it together everywhere else, but you're tired of feeling overwhelmed, numb, or unsafe with your emotions? You might say, what do you mean by that, Dr. RJ? It's kind of like we've talked about crashing out. You can keep it together everywhere, but you're on edge. You just don't know when somebody's going to say that last thing that's going to take you over the edge. I was talking to one of my clients last night, and we had a discussion about that. Like, things are so stressful right now for a lot of us that you don't know like what's going to take you over the edge. No worries. I'm here to help you with that. We don't need any crashing out. We need to stay poised and calm and effective and productive. And so, ground rules, though, this is a judgment free zone. I do a lot of work on myself in therapy, spiritually, physically with my body. I have routines, nutrition, all the things. And still, things take me all the way to the edge. So let me just say, I get it. Again, I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, burnout strategist, and author. I recently completed my trilogy, my burnout blueprint trilogy. So there was first Executive Burnout and then The Art of Balance. And most recently, I completed Self Care for the Busy Executive. And you'll be seeing that soon. I'm so proud of that project, y'all. Uh, the participants who were a part of that project really made it good. They told their stories. We talked about strategies, but that's neither here nor there. So, really quickly, if you're watching now or later, ask yourself, when you're stressed out, right? Do you shut down, lash out, or push through? When you're stressed out, do you shut down, lash out, or push through? Which one is your style? For me, I think I'm more likely to shut down. I like control, I like order. And so I'm more likely to shut down and try to regroup than to push through and lash out because I want to be able to predict what my behavior is going to be. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's what I do. Don't be like me. We're going to talk about better strategies for stress management. So, why does emotional regulation matter? What is emotional regulation? It means when you're having a feeling, you don't want your feelings to be in the driver's seat, right? So, feelings are necessary, they are important. We need them to give us information, but they should not be in the driver's seat. So let's talk about that a little bit. What do I mean by emotional regulation? Often I'll ask my clients, how are you feeling? And as you heard me say at the beginning, my clients are smart. They are in charge. They are running things. They have it together. They're the best of the best at what they do. And when I say, how are you feeling? Everybody freezes. It's like, I don't know. because we don't take enough time to slow down and think about how am I actually feeling. That contributes then to problems with emotional regulation because then you don't know how you're feeling. So let's talk about an example. Let me break it down for you. If someone cuts you off in traffic, the first feeling might be anger. But if you really think about the surface feelings or what's under that, it might be disrespect. And it might be that you felt disrespected earlier during the workday when a colleague cut you off or took credit for your idea. You stuffed that feeling down, but now the disrespect of this person cutting you off sends you over the edge. That is emotional dysregulation. That's why it's so important for us to slow down, take a breath, and be in tune with our feelings. So know how you're feeling, name it. All right. So emotional regulation is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions instead of being controlled by them. I am a July Cancer and I have a lot of feelings. A lot of feelings, like all day, every day. Feelings, feelings, feelings everywhere. However, I do not allow my feelings to be in the driver's seat. That would be a disaster, y'all. Um, I don't let my feelings be in a driver's seat. I acknowledge them. I say, okay, I see you. What is this all about? And then I make a decision from there instead of letting them control me. That is emotional regulation. Now, let me get to my logical mind, people, because some of you are out there saying, no, I'm not emotional. I got this. I'm good. She's not talking to me. I'm coming your way. You ready? So, emotional suppression is the other extreme. When I teach mindfulness, there's wise mind. That's the synthesis of your emotional mind and your logical mind, right? And so that is emotional um, explosion or emotional suppression. So it's crashing out, holding it all in, and then eventually exploding, and nobody knows why or what happened. So let me talk to the emotional suppression people for a minute. You are logical, you're the strong friend. You always have a plan. None of these are bad characteristics, but it doesn't mean that emotional dysregulation is not coming your way. When you suppress your emotions, your feelings will find a way to get you to pay attention. That's how our brain works. Our brain is a survival mechanism. And so if you're holding things in or you're constantly in control without acknowledging your feelings, eventually your pot's going to boil over. And it'll be over something that doesn't even make sense. So, two extremes when we're talking about emotional regulation. We have your emotional mind, that's the breakdown, pop off, snapping, I can't take one more thing, crash outside. And the other side is your logical mind or your more robotic mind, which is more numb, avoidant, holding things in. Both are signs of emotional dysregulation. Y'all got it? Okay, if you're just joining, get out your notepad, get out your pen and paper, get out the note section of your phone, your iPad, all the things, whatever it is you use, hit your recorder, whatever it is you use, you want to take some notes because I am teaching right now about emotional regulation. This is specifically for the busy and burdened because when we get busy, when we get stressed out, emotions are all over the place and it impacts our quality of life. It also impacts our health. So I'm here to help with that. So your emotions are like a dashboard. So if you have a dashboard in your car, I don't have a dashboard in my car. If you have a dashboard in your car and the light comes on, it's not a weakness of your car. It's just information. It's just a signal, right? That's how it is for our emotions. If you are a busy, high achieving professional, you may feel like it's a weakness if you feel something, if you feel sad or upset or disappointed or confused or embarrassed or disrespected, right? If you have any of those feelings, you may feel like it's a weakness, but it's not. It's a signal, it's a warning sign. So let's talk about how it shows up in real life and in your nervous system. For those who don't know me, I am a clinical psychologist, neuroscience nerd. Uh, all things about the brain fascinate me, like all things. And so most conversations, I'm going to sneak something in about the brain. So here we go. Um, our brain, and this is going to be real simple. I'm going to simplify it. I believe that there is genius in simplicity. I don't have to use a whole bunch of big words and all the things because that's unnecessary. Everybody who works with me, you all are bright, smart, you know what you're doing. We don't need to do all that. So let me just break it down. Our brain is a survival mechanism. In the old school part of our brain, there is what we call your limbic system. Okay. And so, my physicians out there, neurologists, all those people, bear with me as I simplify this because I know that there are nuances. I know that there are complexities, but for the purposes of this particular talk, mind over everything, emotional regulation for the busy and burden, we're just going to hit the topic. So, you have your limbic system. That's the old school part of your brain. And that's where your amygdala is. It's where your hippocampus is. It's everything that controls your emotion. So your amygdala, which is in your limbic system, which is the most survival part of your brain. It's in charge of survival. It's a very powerful part of your brain. So you'll hear people talk about your nervous system has been hijacked, right? What that means is because our brain's primary job is to survive, what that means is all other functions will shut down just so that you can survive. What your brain thinks when you are about to crash out, it thinks like something's chasing you, something's going to get you, right? Real danger. But it might just be you're at a meeting and someone has said the wrong thing for the last time, and your nervous system is like, we have to do something. However, the problem with that is your nervous system doesn't know the difference between your very annoying and condescending coworker and a bear chasing you. I watched this video, y'all, about a bear who came into a cabin, and it wasn't AI. I'm pretty good at recognizing the difference between AI and what's real. A bear went into a cabin, opened up the refrigerator, opened up the cabinets. Like it was insane. But your brain doesn't know the difference between a disrespectful coworker saying something to you that gets you all riled up and a bear in your cabin about to attack you. So what happens is your brain automatically then um, prepares you to run, freeze, or hide. We call that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? And so your brain prepares you for that. Now, if you are running from this bear in your cabin, do you need your complex language abilities? Do you need your complex problem solving? Do you need your ability to regulate yourself and use the appropriate tone and nonverbals? Your brain is going to say no. All you need to do is get up out of there, right? And so what happens is emotional dysregulation is just our brain protecting us. We have to then be the bigger person and come in with logic and say, there's not a bear chasing me. Let me take a deep breath, calm my nervous system down, override this nervous system hijack by deep breathing, by grounding myself. You put your feet flat on the floor, by taking a break, by having a sip of water. All of those things can calm your nervous system in a way that your complex parts of your brain then open back up. So, some examples might be you're a public speaker and you freeze before a presentation. That's your brain thinking we're in danger because there's a top down approach and a bottom up approach for our nervous system. So the bottom up approach says that your body tells your brain what's happening. So your heart beats fast, your stomach gets all queasy. That then signals to your brain something is wrong. The top down approach says your thoughts tell your body what's happening, and then that activates all your parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous response. So it activates all of the things happening in your body. So, freezing before a big presentation in a situation like that, that is more of a bottom up approach. So your body reacts to the anxiety, to being nervous, your heart starts beating, your throat may get dry, your head may pound, your stomach may feel butterflies. In that situation, for emotional regulation, you can do something like deep breathing, because you can't think that away. You can't think away the feelings that are happening. So, like deep breathing, grounding, and taking one step at a time. I'm in this moment. It's going to be fine. Let me take a deep breath. Okay. Another example of emotional dysregulation might be snapping at your family after a very long work day, or avoiding your family after a very long workday. That's emotional dysregulation. That's your thoughts. I am exhausted. I don't want to hear another thing. And so a way to regulate that is, again, take a deep breath, but this one involves more thoughts. What are some ways that I can get a quick reprieve before I get home? So, do I need to sit in a car for 5 minutes and listen to some music? Do I need to chat with my bestie for a couple minutes before I go into the house? I know there are so many garage sitters out there. You pull up to your house and you just sit in the garage. Right. Because you need a minute. It's okay. That's an appropriate coping skill. Another form of emotional dysregulation is people pleasing when you actually want to say no. People pleasing when you actually want to say no. That's your nervous system telling you, it's telling you through your brain, like, if I say no, these things are going to happen. So it's like a hamster wheel of if then, if then, if then. And it becomes so anxiety provoking that you just give in and you say yes because you don't want to deal with the if then. So, again, let's review some quick examples of emotional regulation. It's not all crash outs, it can be emotional suppression or emotional explosion. Quick examples: freezing before a presentation, snapping at your family after a long work day, or people pleasing when you really want to say no. So, emotional dysregulation is not about being too emotional. It's about your emotions being in the driver's seat. It's about your brain, the survival part of your brain, your amygdala, your limbic system taking over everything when really you should be taking over everything. So think about this. How does your body react to stress? Everybody's body reacts differently. It might be a tight chest, it might be a headache, it might be your stomach in knots. Right. It might be, oh, I can't eat anything. It might be overeating, like you need to fill yourself up, or feel like you're in control of something. Take a moment to think about how your body responds to stress. So now that we've talked about emotional regulation, and I know I'm going really quickly, but I just want to hold, get your attention, get in and get out, because it's the middle of the day if you're watching right now live, and I want to get this information to you fairly quickly so you can use these strategies right now. Today, if you're just joining, we're talking about mind over everything, emotional regulation for the busy and burdened. I'm Dr. RJ, licensed clinical psychologist, corporate burnout strategist, and therapist to the dopest, smartest, most amazing clients here on earth. Yep, that's me. I'm also an author, just finished the final book of my trilogy for The Balance Blueprint. First was executive burnout, second was the art of balance, and finally, which may be my favorite, I shouldn't say that, but I feel like it's my favorite, self care for the busy executive. So keep your eyes out on that. It's ready. Like I have a copy on my desk, but I want to like give it to y'all in a good way. So let's talk about some strategies, and then I'm going to love you and leave you. Strategies, strategies, strategies. Three simple tools that you can use right now, right today, in order to help you manage your emotions. First, name it to tame it. Okay. Name it to tame it. Label your emotion out loud or in writing. So say, I am feeling, and then you fill in a blank, or write it down. I am feeling, and you fill in a blank. And so you want to get into a practice of that so that you can be aware, increase your awareness of how you're feeling. There's a feelings chart out there. You can just Google feelings chart. I would keep one on your phone or somewhere nearby, the feelings wheel. I'll pull it up for my clients from time to time. When we were brick and mortar, I had a laminated copy, like an old school educator, and I would hand the feelings wheel over and say, how you feeling today? And so now we can do it electronically. Just get a feelings wheel, make sure you're aware of all the different feelings and emotions that are out there. So, first, if we're talking about ways to regulate your emotions, the first way, name it to tame it. Say out loud or write down your emotion. You want to label the emotion. The next simple tool you can use right now, today, is box breathing. You may have heard me talk about box breathing before, but if you think the reason box breathing works, one, because it's easy, and two, you can have your own guide. So think of a box. If you go up, across, down, across. All right. So let's do it together. You're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Now, for my perfectionists out there, if you do it for 3 or 5, it is okay. Right? Just do the box. Don't get caught up in the 4. But I'll do it with you so you can get a feel for it. So, box breathing. What box breathing does is that it reminds your nervous system that you are safe, that nothing's chasing you, and that it can then activate the more complex parts of your brain. So box breathing, here we go. We're going up the box. Inhale for 4, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. One more time. I like threes. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Ah, that was good. And so when you do your box breathing, you'll feel your body, especially the more you practice it, you'll feel your body just kind of come down. Breathing is so, so, so powerful. It's something you can do at your desk, you can do it at the dinner table, you can do it in your car, you can do it at a meeting. Box breathing is probably, I think, the best way to get your emotional regulation back under control and get back in the driver's seat. Grounding is another technique. Now, grounding is a general word. I'll tell you how I like to ground. It's use all of your 5 senses, not at the same time, but you can just use one, and then you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with it. Let me explain. Put your feet flat on the floor. So for grounding, it's so important for your feet to be flat on the floor. If you have the luxury of going outside to put your feet in the grass, do that. Oh my goodness, it is just life changing for your feet to be in the grass or with the soil. It does something physiological for your body, and it resets your nervous system. So, grounding, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find something in your environment. So, I'll do sight because I don't have anything to smell. So I'll do sight right now if we're talking about our 5 senses. So what do I see? So you're going to take a deep breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I see a metallic curtain and it goes from the floor to the ceiling. The bottom of the metallic curtain, it has black velvet, wide panels going across. There's some texture, a little bit of a sparkle that I hadn't noticed before. and one of the rungs for the curtain is hanging off, probably needs to be back on. And okay, that's it. So you can take just a few seconds in your environment, focus on something in your environment, use one of your senses to describe that thing, and then breathe after. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe in, breathe out. Ground yourself, feet flat on the floor. Notice something in your environment. Attend to that just for about 30 seconds and come back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can also do this with smell. You can do it with touch. I don't have anything sensory or with me right now, but you can do it with touch. You can do it with taste. You can do it with sound or hearing. Sound is probably my favorite, but I have on headphones, so that wouldn't work right now. Um, and so we did taste, touch. Y'all know the five senses. All right. Use one of your five senses and then ground yourself. The most important thing is that your feet are actually flat on the ground when you're grounding and that you breathe first. Do the exercise and then breathe again. Okay. I don't mean hold your breath while you're doing the exercise, but you want to intentionally breathe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 after. All right. So we're talking about quick strategies you can use right now to help you with emotional regulation. The first, name it to tame it. You're going to label the emotion out loud or in writing. The second is your box breathing. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. The third that we just talked about is grounding. Make sure your feet are on the floor. Breathe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find something in your environment. Use your five senses. Focus on that, and then bring yourself back to the present. Finally, this is my favorite, and it's probably the toughest one that I had to learn how to do. That is, let me think if I can think of stimulus reaction is what I'm thinking, but the word I want to use is pause. Pause before you respond. So, giving yourself 90 seconds, a 90-second gap between a stimulus and a response is like magic. Let me talk more about that. So the stimulus, or people may use the word trigger because that's popular right now. Your trigger, a coworker said something, took credit for your idea right in front of you at work. And then the response, or I should say your desired response, there should be a minimum of 90 seconds between those things. Okay. I'm telling you, it is magic. 90 seconds may seem like forever, but it will save you. Make sure that there is an intentional gap between a trigger or a stimulus and your response. Now, I'm not saying your response has to be all nice and fluffy, but you want your response to be intentional. Is this what I meant to say? You know, we say, I said what I said, right? You don't want that said what I said to be impulsive. You want it to be well thought out and strategized. Only takes about 90 seconds to do that. You can take longer depending on what it is, but you want to give yourself 90 seconds between the stimulus or trigger and the response. That is my favorite one when we talk about emotional regulation. You can use it with your kids. You can use it with your partner. You can use it with your friend. You can use it on social media. You can use it in your sorority or fraternity meetings. You can use it in church. You can use it in all the places. 90 seconds before you respond. This also helps you from saying yes too quickly and overcommitting. Okay. Give yourself time to respond. So, a quick review as we're talking about mind over everything, emotional regulation for the busy and burdened. Simple tools that you can use right away, right now. As soon as I log off, you can use these tools. Here we go. First, name it to tame it. Label your emotion out loud or in writing. Second, box breathing. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. Third is grounding. Put your feet flat on the ground, preferably feet to soil or feet to grass, but it's okay for your carpet or your hardwood floor or inside of your shoe if you're actually at work. You want to breathe for 5 seconds, notice something in your environment, attend to it for about 30 seconds or less, and then come back to the present. Okay? Make sure as you're coming back to the present that you're breathing. And finally, you want to pause before a response. So you have your stimulus, you have a 90-second pause, and then you have your response. Now, as you're watching this, I want you to go to my Instagram, if you use Instagram, or on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you are, and reply which one you will be using today. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram right now, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on both of my Facebook pages. I want you to drop me a reply, whether you're watching this live or later. Which one of these tools will you use today? Okay. And so I want you to notice how your body feels right now compared to even a few minutes ago. Change can happen in a short amount of time. And when we talk about therapy, the goal is to be able to show up as your favorite version of yourself and to be able to do it quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Therapy is not for when you hit rock bottom. I mean, you can use it for that, but it's not only for when you hit rock bottom. Therapy is like strength training. Strength training, it will build your emotional muscles. It'll build your regulatory muscles, and you need those because you're going to be faced with all kinds of triggers all day, every day, and you don't want that to stay in your body because it causes illness. It triggers hypertension and all the things. Your blood sugar gets all off. Like, we need that cortisol, that stress, that adrenaline out of our body. It can't just hang around in there. So therapy will help you with those skills so that basically you don't get sick, especially with all of these stressors. Okay. And so, key takeaways. You ready? We're doing a recap because we're about to go. Um, e- key takeaways. Emotions are signals, not weakness. Emotional dysregulation is common but manageable. Therapy is a powerful tool for mastery, not just repair. All right. And obviously, let me make sure you all know how to work with me if you want to work with me. You can really just go to the website. Let me just make this simple. Just go to AskDrRJ.com and schedule a free consultation. This as I'm talking to you, I want to make sure that I'm offering those who do not have a therapist, who do not have a coach, who are in these high stress positions. You should not be doing this alone. You need a team, you need a partner, you need someone to help you show up as your favorite version of yourself. All right. That is it. I'm Dr. RJ, licensed clinical psychologist, corporate burnout strategist, and therapist to the dopest, best, smartest, most amazing clients on earth. That's me. Thank you so, so much for joining me today. Please share with a friend who you know who's busy, burdened, and on the verge of crashing out or feels like their emotions are everywhere. Share this with them. Share these tools. This is not a secret. Don't gatekeep. Share it with all of the people. All right, everybody. Bye.
RJ, you say there is an art to balancing burnout.
Absolutely. So burnout is when we're constantly going, but we're getting nowhere, right? Constantly
That
running
hamster
and
wheel
running.
effect.
That
Yeah.
hamster wheel. And I see so many women stuck there. They're overworking and not getting any rest. And so I came up with a framework called the Art of Balance. The
Okay.
A is for authenticity,
Okay.
R for relentless rest, and T is for time consciousness.
Gotcha. Let's talk just briefly about authenticity.